Hey guys, welcome back. Today I just wanted to do a quick little video on how to paint up an easy tarnished gold, just using some basic dry brushing techniques. And this can be particularly useful if you're painting up a model where a large portion of it's going to be gold. And I printed off this Blood Angels Sanguinor proxy model, which will be perfect for applying this gold technique to. And after filling a few of the gaps from the assembly, I then primed the model in colour forged bruised purple, which is going to be a perfect base coat for all of the parts of this model, including the gold. And I'm going to be building up this gold colour using a dry brush and a combination of some of the Army Painter metallics, starting off with rough iron and then working my way up through true copper, greedy gold and bright gold. And for the first coat of the rough iron, I'm just going to be applying this to around 95% of all of the gold areas, and just trying to make sure that I get a nice even coverage. And at this point I don't worry about getting any of the gold paint on any of the other parts of the model, as I can always just go in with a little bit of purple paint and touch up these areas a little bit later. And I'll continue to dry brush on the rest of the colours, making sure I reduce the amount of paint that I'm using with each step up in brightness, and also covering a smaller surface area as I go, making sure I leave all of the previous colours still left visible. And by the time I get up to the brightest gold, I'll just be doing a very light dry brush to catch all of the edges and raised areas. And after that's been applied, you should have a really nicely highlighted gold. And you could leave it here if you wanted, but I'm going to push that tarnished look a little bit further by applying some purple wash. I'll be using the Army Painter purple, but you could use any purple ink or contrast paint as well. And I'm just going to apply this over all of the gold areas, trying to push it into all of the recesses as I go. And as always, just wick up any excess pooling if it occurs. And this step helps to take away some of the shine from all of the gold, and also add a little bit more depth and interest to all of the recesses. And again, you could just leave it with one coat of this wash, but I'm going to try and push that tarnished look even further and allow the first coat to dry, and then apply a second coat in the exact same way. And then once that's dried, I'm just going to go back in with the brightest gold, which was the Army Painter Bright Gold, and then just do a quick and light dry brush across all of the top facing and raised surfaces, just to bring back some of the highlights and shine to the gold that's been dulled down so much by the purple wash. And once that's been applied, you should have a really nicely shaded and highlighted, tarnished looking gold. That didn't take too much effort. And all that's needed to be done now is to paint in the rest of the model, starting off with all of the wings. And to do that, I'm just going to be using the Army Painter Warm Greys and Whites Triad. And I'm just going to be using the same dry brushing technique, building up the highlights from the darkest colour to the lightest. And the last part was to paint in the cape using the Army Painter Cool Reds Triad. And this time I decided to brush this on using the darkest colour, starting on all of the raised highlight areas, working this into all of the recesses, just leaving a little bit of the purple colour still visible in some of the deepest of the recesses. And from there I just use the lighter colours to build up all of the highlights by applying them to only the raised areas on the model. And again, covering a smaller surface area each time I go up in brightness. And that's the model now complete. And for the basing, I'll just be giving it a quick dip in some Kraut cover, A Tale of Grimdark, which will finish the model off nicely. And I hope you enjoyed this tarnished true metallic gold tutorial video. And if you did, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.